A very happy Thursday to you, and thanks for joining us tonight on Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. A pretty nice day across northern Michigan. Really no complaints. It's nice and comfortable outside. The sun's out. A few clouds. And Joe, you just mentioned at the end of the 6 that there is a full moon tonight.
Right.
The buck moon.
Yeah.
Will be a nice clear night. Will we get a good view of the full moon?
You know, in some areas, I think some clouds rolling in. They're kind of increasing a little bit right now, so not sure how much we'll see of that, but hopefully some of it out there. Yeah, that was our quiz yesterday. What's the name of it? And you knew it. The buck moon.
Yeah, dang it. I missed a quiz that I actually knew the answer to. That never happens.
Yeah, that's the name of it because, the antlers start showing this time of the year. But as far as the weather's concerned, a few showers south tonight. And then as we get into the weekend, it looks a little bit stormy on Saturday for some spots. So we'll kind of take a look at that and which of the 2 weekend days looks to be a little better for outdoor activities. Coming up a little later, Maya.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe. But right now, let's start off with our top story of the night. Back in January, we told you about a federal grant given to Traverse Health Clinic to expand its mobile medical unit. The clinic on wheels brings medical care to those experiencing homelessness currently in Grand Traverse County, but now they are expanding their reach. As our Allie Baxter reports, they're heading to Wexford County, specifically making stops in the city of Cadillac.
Without this grant, this would not have been possible.
A $1 million grant from the Health Resources and Service Administration is helping take Traverse Health Clinic's mobile medical unit on a road trip, hoping to meet
many people, including unsheltered, unhoused, underinsured, uninsured. So that community does not exist only in Grand Traverse County. It exists in many places.
Places like Wexford County.
There is a need in Wexford County.
Staff say the plan is to drive the exam room on wheels down to Cadillac on Mondays. They've partnered with the Salvation Army of Cadillac, the Wexford County Public Library, and New Hope Shelter as stopping points.
There definitely are people that we've taken care of from up here that are originally from Cadillac or moved back and forth, and so there'll be some continuity and patience.
Along with familiar faces, the goal is to connect with new people who don't have primary care, people who may have experienced trauma in the past in different medical settings.
Opportunity for us to provide care and help people before they need to go into emergency settings. Our goal, again, is to build trust with people that have been unhoused and ideally link them back into the primary care communities.
While the goal remains the same, Dr. David Klee says his team anticipates needing to learn the barriers and struggles people are facing in Wexford County and how they may be different than the ones the team sees in Grand Traverse County.
Response has to be a little bit different, but if we can help add to that response and improve care, then we've been able to add benefit.
That was Allie Baxter reporting. And along with the expansion into Wexford County, Dr. Klee says that after Labor Day, the team will also start going to Kalkaska and Antrim counties. They're looking to make stops in Rapid City and in Mansalona. Well, making news around the state tonight, WK Kellogg, which is based in Battle Creek, is set to be sold to an Italian candy company for more than $3 billion. Tyler Brummett breaks down the deal.
WK Kellogg says this deal with Ferrero is worth $3.1 billion. We're told the Italy-based company will acquire all equity of WK Kellogg for $23 a share. That's more than a 30% jump for shareholders. Once the deal is done, WK Kellogg stock will no longer trade on the New York Stock Exchange floor. Both companies now reacting. In a statement, the chairman of WK Kellogg, Gary Pilnick, says in part, "We believe this proposed transaction maximizes value for our share owners and enables WK Kellogg to write the next chapter of our company's storied legacy." Meanwhile, Giovanni Ferrero, the executive chairman of Ferrero, says, "I am thrilled to welcome WK Kellogg to the Ferrero Group. This is more than just an acquisition. It represents the coming together of two companies, each with a proud legacy and generations of loyal consumers." Wednesday's announcement is the latest in a series of business moves for WK Kellogg. In 2022, Kellogg spun off its cereal business to become WK Kellogg. Its snack unit became Kellanova, which was bought by Mars last year for $35.9 billion.
In other state news tonight, Michigan lawmakers taking a major step to try to protect college athletes and their right to earn money from their name, image, and likeness, or NIL. Some different examples of NIL deals would be doing a brand on a social media platform with a company, maybe appearing in commercials, signing autographs, that sort of thing. Well, now a new bill introduced in Lansing could change the game for student athletes across the state.
As young as like 12 years old, it was already in my mind, like, I'm playing college golf.
Annika D knew early on what she wanted, and in 2019, that became a reality at the University of Michigan.
I can still remember it like it was yesterday when I committed, the official visit, and just all that was just awesome.
But balancing athletics, school, and life wasn't easy.
It was very tough.
Dee says the demands of being a student athlete often left little room or energy for anything else.
Just because I don't have a job doesn't mean I don't have a job. This is my job, and definitely no time for another job.
And when Dee joined the team, college athletes weren't making money from the commercial use of their name, image, and likeness, or NIL.
When I started college, NIL was really like non-existent.
But that changed in 2021.
When the NIL started, where it really helps them the most is when they're in school and they're not on a full ride scholarship, and it helps them pay for school.
And a whole new era of college sports began this July.
A lot more changed.
House versus NCAA now allows schools themselves to pay athletes up to a certain limit, starting at $20.5 million for the upcoming school year.
That just bothers me so much that there's any organization that would think that they can put a value on anybody's head.
However, former MSU baseball player Tom Dieter says those rules put Michigan schools in conflict with current state laws.
It's prohibited for any other organization to come into the state of Michigan and limit what a student athlete can earn through NIL contracts.
But Dieter says a new bill just introduced in the Michigan House would keep schools in compliance with state laws.
So right now, the schools are breaking the laws in the state of Michigan because they are limiting kids what they can earn. Our bill says there is no limit. They can earn whatever the free market will bear.
17th offers House Bill 4643.
House Bill 4643 essentially would do three things. Ban the NCAA or any other organization from capping how much money student athletes in Michigan can earn through NIL deals, ensure student athletes don't have to publicly share how much they make from NIL deals, and prohibit the NCAA from penalizing Michigan schools or athletes involved in NIL deals.
And that means these schools need to follow the state laws, not some rules that they're being told to follow.
Dieter says the bill could also give Michigan schools a competitive edge in recruiting by offering better NIL protections.
It gives our schools a big recruiting advantage over the competitors in the same league because they do have that opportunity.
Dee says NIL is changing the landscape of college sports, and it can be a powerful tool.
It's an awesome opportunity to help financial situations and then also alleviate some stress, which can help you play better, honestly, and do better in school. And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Supporters of the bill say it's not just about fairness, it's about state sovereignty, giving Michigan the power to set its own rules and give its schools a recruiting edge.
This bill is not just about the players. It's not. It's also about states' rights. The state of Michigan can be a leader here.
In northern Michigan, Maya Engel, UpNorthLive News. Great reporting, Maya. The bill was introduced in June by Democratic Representative Joe Tate, himself a former athlete. He played football at Michigan State University. It was then referred to the Committee on Regulatory Reform. Of course, we will keep you updated on its progress. Well, switching gears here, the early summer crops are in full bloom in most spots in Michigan. That includes cherries, strawberries, and blueberries. Meteorologist Trevor Robideau has a preview of the blueberry crop that's expected to be ready within about a week or so.
Farmers downstate started harvesting blueberries right after the 4th of July. Chad Reinders, president of the Michigan Blueberry Advisory Committee, says that this year overall has been good.
The spring was actually fairly nice, you could say. We had some cooler weathers. We weren't rushed into springtime and then having to deal with frost and pollination. Pollination was over 4 weeks long. It was a very long pollination season.
Crops around the state, including blueberries, are running a little behind due to the cooler weather in the spring. Local blueberry farm Bulldog Berries has some early varieties starting this Thursday with blueberries and some red raspberries a week or so behind.
Every season, it seems, with a little bit of give or take on the day we actually start. I bet, compared to last year with the blueberries, we're going to be 3 to 5 days behind. So it really doesn't make that much of an impact at the end of the day.
Rain has been rather inconsistent for some farmers, with some noting they don't have nearly enough and others saying that a little less would be nice.
When we're dealing with this drought situation in Michigan, kind of where our farms are down in the Grand Rapids, west of Grand Rapids area, we haven't really got a lot of rainfall in the last 4-6 weeks.
We, I think, have irrigated maybe a little less than previous seasons. There has been a good amount of rain. Once the fruit is on the bush, I kind of prefer it to rain a little less and just irrigate it myself. Though the free water is nice, the rain can bring problems like insects and funguses.
The intense heat a few weeks ago caused some concerns, but fortunately, the heat was short-lived. Reinders noted that warmer temps stress the berries if exposed for too long.
A few years ago, we had an issue with it pushing 100, where we actually had to run water during the heat of the day just to cool the fruit down, or it turns into a raisin pretty much. It pretty much shrivels up and goes away.
We're going to open our first day of the year tomorrow for the Saskatoons and the red raspberries. We also have golden, yellow raspberries and black raspberries and blackberries. I'm thinking next week we could probably open for the blueberries.
In Leelanau County, Trevor Obodo, Up North Live News.
Well, speaking of different types of berries and fruit, let's take a look at our question of the day related to Trevor's story that you just watched. What is your favorite locally grown fruit? You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. That'll take you over to our website where you can vote, and you can see all the options. So as of right now, it looks like strawberries is leading the way with 34% of the vote, followed by cherries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Not a whole lot of love for blackberries, kind of underrated. It is hard to pick one, I know, but I did choose strawberries because there's just such a big difference between locally grown strawberries and the ones that you buy at the grocery store at a different time of the year. Also, we'd love to hear your comments. So maybe head over to our Facebook post, or even if you're watching this live right now on Facebook, YouTube, or X, leave a live comment. And toward the end of the show, we will show you the updated results for our question of the day and read a few of your comments. And, maybe your favorite locally grown fruit wasn't even on this list. So then go ahead and leave a comment on what that is. And as I mentioned, we'll look at those toward the end of the show, but we are going to take a quick commercial break. Coming up next, we'll have much more on the forecast. We'll bring back in Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix. Sounds like it might be a bit of a wet start to the weekend, but it should dry up by Sunday. I'm no meteorologist though, so we'll let Joe explain all that and have more details coming up in just a couple of minutes.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back, everyone. A beautiful day across northern Michigan. Nice and dry, but as we know, things usually don't stay the same here for too long. So, Joe, when will we see our next system of rain?
Well, it looks like that's going to get in here, well, tonight in some areas. You know, if you're in, let's say, the Big Rapids area, you could get a little rain later tonight. If you're in Sault Ste. Marie, probably not till Saturday. So kind of a game of geography here.
Fun. Love that game.
Do you like the game of geography?
I also love this hot shot, by the way.
That was a nice one.
And this view.
Yeah.
Also a good one.
I'm trying to pull up the Gaylord. Yeah, there's the Gaylord camp. By the way, you're going to be at Alpenfest on Saturday, right?
On Saturday, yep. We will be, Harrison and I are going to be hosting the parade that starts at noon. We're a little worried about the rain there.
Here's the thing. I think we're going to get some rain Friday night there. Maybe a few showers hanging on Saturday. I think the steady rate ends. But then early afternoon, some storms are going to fire up near Gaylord. So, you know, but maybe like after the parade is done. So it'll be kind of a close call.
Okay.
I'll keep you updated.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, so 70 to 8 degrees. They've had fantastic weather there so far all week long. No major issues. Another one this evening. Now, as we look at the forecast for Alpenfest, 82 tomorrow. Partly cloudy, and then Saturday, some thunderstorms roll in again early afternoon. There will be rain late Friday night, too. But this is the daylight hours here. Again, some storms early afternoon, highs in the mid-80s expected on Saturday. Around the Midwest tonight, a couple areas of, well, not a concern, but a little bit of concern. We have a severe thunderstorm watch here in, not our area, Kansas, parts of Colorado, and then a tornado watch for parts of Nebraska. You can see these intense thunderstorms going up there to the west of Sioux City, Iowa. And then closer to home, we've just had some clouds getting kind of streamed in here. You can see our viewing area. There is some rain on the other side of the lake, inching in on Milwaukee, southern Wisconsin, actually west of Chicago tonight too. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of that here. So as we look ahead, a quiet night for most, but right there, south of Cadillac, we just mentioned that. Could get a few showers tomorrow morning. That's the most likely area on Friday for rain and showers. So let's draw a line like Manistee over toward Alpena, south of there. You can see that. There's tomorrow morning, early afternoon. Chance for some rain there. If you're tuned in Sheboygan, I wouldn't worry about it. No rain. Newberry, dry up that way. Then Friday night, this is when a more meaningful rain arrives. Right here, you can see rain, maybe some embedded thunderstorms. And then that cold front that comes in Saturday, you can kind of see when it goes up right here, these storms. So that's 12:30. This is certainly liable to change. It's a couple days away. But the basic idea is that thunderstorms will go up against or up ahead of this cold front right there. So, you know, if we're talking Alpenfest, 2, 3, 4 o'clock maybe. We'll keep an eye on that all the way from Muskegon up toward Sheboygan and the Drummond Island area. As far as severe weather, we're penciled in much of the area under a marginal risk for a stronger storm or two, but that yellow shaded area south of Alpena, a little higher risk. It's called slight by the classification, but that's where we could see a few stronger storms Saturday afternoon and into the evening. All right, here's a look at the weekend, just kind of a recap. So morning shower Saturday, then that chance for scattered storms. We just showed you that, upper 70s to mid 80s. But Sunday does look nice. Upper 70s to mid 80s, partly to mostly sunny skies expected on Sunday. All right, our 7-day forecast, it looks like this. Sunday, nice weather, and then warm weather returns next week. I mean, look at Tuesday, maybe 90 in some spots. So a warm and dry, sunny start to next week. Looks like another front comes in, will cool down Thursday with another chance for some rain and storms, and that would be a week from now. So we'll keep an eye on that Alpenfest forecast for you, Maya, and we'll have another update later this evening and tomorrow.
Thanks, Joe. It always pays off to be friends with a meteorologist. All right, let's take another quick break, but stick around. Sports is next. Stay with us. High school football season in northern Michigan doesn't start for another few weeks, but one former Gaylord High School football player has a pretty cool story, and he sat down with our sports director Harrison Beebe to talk more about that. And now Harrison is joining us live to talk about that conversation. Hey, Harrison.
That is correct, Maya. 32 days until football practices can officially begin. Games are a few weeks after that, but yeah, we're closing in on a month for the return of what I view as the start of the season and the training camp portion. Sure. But yeah, Gaylord senior Keaton Abraham, Gaylord graduate, I guess I can't really call him a senior anymore. He was a senior. Had a productive start to summer. He got to play in the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association All-Star game. He was on the West team. The West team got a win over the East team. And that included guys from, Traverse City, Gaylord, basically up north, all the way down through Grand Rapids against probably the best of the best from the Detroit Flint regions. And yeah, the West team came out on top. We asked him about being a part of that in our special interview.
How did the selection process go for that event? And how cool was it to know that, kids, some of the best seniors from around the state were playing in that and you were in that elite group?
So I think the selection process all goes off of your coach, your high school coach nominates you. And then once the coaches for the teams are picked, then the coaches go through and look at all the athletes that got nominated and they have their film and all that stuff. And then they pick out the guys that they want, that they think are going to fit their game plan the best. And yeah, so that's how the selection process worked. And that being able to be a part of that was super cool. There were a lot of very good athletes down there, really cool people. And the coaches down there were great. The guys from both teams were great. It was a really cool experience in general.
Is it weird being done playing football for 6 months? I mean, obviously you're always training, but was it weird to jump into a game, 6-7 months after your last game?
Yeah, that part was really weird. We went down there Thursday. We got there Thursday morning and then had 5 practices between when we got there and the game. But it was just a very weird jump because you go from nothing into being back in full pads and going live. So that was a big jump, but it was pretty fun.
Pretty fun indeed. Like I said, they got the win, and you might have seen on his name graphic at the bottom of the screen there, Keaton is going to be playing college football at Michigan Tech starting in the fall. So he's heading up to Houghton at the beginning of August. So he's got a few more weeks of summer left. And real quick before we wrap up, he wasn't the only local guy in that game. We had a guy from Glen Lake, Marion, and McBain also taking part in that all-star game down in suburban Detroit a few weeks back. So big shout out to those seniors now departing high school. Got to play one more final high school game under the lights.
It's awesome. So many talented athletes in the northern Michigan area. And counting down the days, Harrison, 32 until we get to see more talented athletes take to the fields here in northern Michigan.
That is correct, Maya. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, sure will. All right, Harrison, thank you so much for that sports update. Let's take a quick break, but as promised, we'll check in with the updated results for our question of the day related to your favorite locally grown fruit. Straight ahead.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Today, for our question of the day, we're talking locally grown fruit and specifically what your favorite locally grown fruit is. Strawberries still leading the way with 36% of the vote. You can see the others on your screen right now. Over on our live stream, Edward says strawberries and apples. That is a good one. We should have probably included apples. A lot of blueberries over on our Facebook page. I'm trying to see if there's anything else not on our list, but people are sticking with the. Oh, Scott says pickles. There's always a Scott. I also love pickles. Well, thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted and being a part of the conversation related to locally grown fruit. You can leave a comment over on our Facebook page where we are all out of time. Again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 11 o'clock tonight.